Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, one can deduct from the comments he's been making in the past 10 minutes or so that this has nothing at all to do with the iTaukei administration at the village level. She can't even get facts right. She's supposedly a lawyer, and it's not Fijian affairs, it's iTaukei affairs. There's something definitely wrong with lawyers such as this, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what we have just heard, as I've said, is not a genuine case for better administration. It is just an insidious argument in favor of privilege, of elitism and the backward systems of power we inherited from the colonial era. I have a different vision, Mr. Speaker, a new vision. And at the heart of that vision rests the well-being of the ordinary iTaukei. As iTaukei people, our culture, our language, and our traditions are well protected in our Fijian constitution. Our land is protected for all times as a sacred and valuable asset. And it has been the policy of my government to help the landowners use that valuable asset to live better lives, to build wealth for future generations, and to contribute in different ways to the development of the Fijian economy. iTaukei land, Mr. Speaker, is held communally, and that is why we believe, as guaranteed in the Constitution, that no iTaukei land should be alienated permanently. In other words, the members of land-owning units should not lose ownership of their traditional lands. I am astounded, Mr. Speaker, as a member of a land-owning unit, as an iTaukei, that the opposition have time and time again tried to justify the actions of Sitiveni Rambuka and Laisen Yangarase as legitimate. Even Rambuka himself tried to do it lately, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Mulanoda just yesterday or the day before said that it was legally done, so it's okay. Even though the law was wrong, and even though it was morally and ethically outright wrong. What hypocrisy. And this is from someone who was a minister for land, supposedly, in previous government. I hope that,
Point of order.
that no,
Sir.
he's not given an opportunity to come on this side of the House, Mr. Speaker. Only 2 weeks we passed a law that will make iTaukei land a lot more attractive, increase the value of iTaukei land, bring more money to landowners, but without a single millimeter of iTaukei land being given up. But the opposition held it to be as some great infringement of land rights, when clearly it is not the case. Yet in the same breath, when actual land was taken away permanently, depriving the future generations access to that land, the opposition unashamedly stand up and say it's okay. Mr. Speaker, you cannot selectively be the so-called protectors of indigenous land only when it politically suits you. We are not selective. We are principled, Mr. Speaker, and we practice what we believe and what we say. Mr. Speaker, government has also ensured that the benefits of land ownership must go to all of the landowners, not just a few. That has not always been the case, and we will not sit idly by while elites line their own pockets thanks to assets that belongs to all, commoner or chief. The wealth that these communally owned assets produce must be equally shared. And we must look for ways not just to share what we have today, but also for and with the future generations. We must therefore increase the value of these assets. It is our policy to empower communities to use their land in the most beneficial ways possible. That means, Mr. Speaker, we have to recognize changes in the modern economy and the new opportunities they bring. It means we must streamline the approval process and remove impediments for landowners and lessees alike. We recognize that the number of iTaukei still live in a village setting. We also have to recognize that the number of the villages are now in urban or peri-urban setting. The demographics are different, Mr. Speaker. Sources of income and levels of income, the level of literacy and access to education, and isolation from amenities and services differ from village to village or region to region. How we deal with these communities will not be addressed by one size fits all. Times have changed since the colonial times, and indeed structures created then need to be assessed for its practicality and, more importantly, the ability of these structures to serve the ordinary villagers and the iTaukei at large. We, the iTaukei people, are wiser now. We want to be empowered, not merely protected. Some in the opposition arrogantly believe that they and only they can be entrusted with the protection of the iTaukei people. They speak of the iTaukei like we are children who need their protection, rather than as leaders and decision makers capable of shaping our future. If the opposition had their way, they would assume the yoke of colonizers themselves. They would keep the iTaukei weak, afraid, and ignorant. Listen to the former speaker. But we are not, Honorable Speaker. So Delpa and their cronies are more than 1 century too late. The iTaukei people are not children in need of their protection. They want to be empowered. All iTaukei people, not only those with the right bloodline, or the right titles, or the right gender, but women, young people, and those with the drive to make something out of their lives for themselves. Instead, what have we heard? An attempt to instate an outdated colonial mindset onto a rapidly modernizing economy and changing society, influenced by TikTok, Facebook, and greater access and connectivity to media, information, and entertainment. And this isn't 1874, Mr. Speaker, or even 1970, Honorable Speaker. Decision-making no longer falls like a hammer from the top down. It must flow from the grassroots up. Community leadership must empower the entire community, Honorable Speaker, not simply benefit the chosen, privileged few. That is our philosophy. That is my government's philosophy. And it differs from the opposition in all of the ways that matter to the tangible and measurable well-being of our people. Their level of opportunity, their income, their education, their livelihoods, their future. Over the years, Mr. Speaker, the iTaukei Affairs Tikina and Village Council regulations have worked with the Provincial Council officers to guide rural iTaukei communities with the support of the Village Councils and the Banua. The hard-working Matani Tikina, Turangani Koro, and the community health workers had continued to assist and guide the villages and had provided a reporting framework for the iTaukei administration. The village boundaries have been surveyed and gazetted, and the Ministry of iTaukei Affairs is working on its upload to the GIS platform. Mr. Speaker, my government has moved from a development-centered approach to something more comprehensive. It is a people-centered approach that relies not on improved subsistence, but on improved opportunity. We need to move from a subsistence economy to the opportunities that a modern market economy presents to all Fijians. My government is reaching down to all levels in the society, including within the iTaukei communities. This includes elderly and disability allowances, greater empowerment for our women and our young people, and free education and transport assistance for our school children, and land development opportunities for our landowners through the iTaukei Land Development Initiative. Through the National Development Plan, Mr. Speaker, our villages now have clean access to clean water through the Rural Water Scheme, access to energy through the Rural Electrification Scheme, access to communications and improvements in sanitation through our development partners. The Turani Koro allowances were $50 a month under the previous administration. We increased them to $75 in 2015 and $100 a month in 2018. And I thank the hardworking Turani Koro for their efforts, especially during this pandemic. Mr. Speaker, in the provision of basic medical services and the monitoring and promotion of healthy lifestyles in the local communities, the community health workers, or Nasi Nikoro, play a pivotal role. Together with the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, the position was recognized as part of the Village Council reporting structure in 2017. And these vital members of the community who were paid about $50 a month are now paid a reasonable allowance of $200 a month to help them carry out their duties. The iTaukei Affairs Board has re-strategized to overcome the challenges left behind by the previous administration. It must make up the huge backlog in the audit of the board and the provincial council accounts, which remains an obstacle to the progress we hope to make. But we hope that will be completed come 2022. It remains of paramount importance, Mr. Speaker, that we prudently administer the trust funds on behalf of the Vanua. For example, Mr. Speaker, these funds have assisted the completion of the village community hall for Yabusa Vunimevi in Nosori, renovated the Nalauwaki village hall in Waya, purchased equipment and materials for fishing projects for Vanua Laudala in Taviuni, renovated the Vanua Vunda Chiefly Bure at Visisei village in Nandi, and they relocated the water system at the Lombi village in Waya in Nasawa. The ministry, Mr. Speaker, continues to advise these communities on viable investment opportunities, along with the associated risks to aid the owners in making sound and informed decisions. We are currently reviewing the operations of the provincial companies, Mr. Speaker, which is one of the pain points inherited from previous management. We are building new bridges with the councils. 2 successful reviews have been completed in Maduata and Bua, whereby provincial rates targets are reduced, as these are subsidized by the injections from the commercial arms on an annual basis. Mr. Speaker, if we want better village administration, we must make it a priority to develop administrative skills and capacity at the local, regional, and national levels. We never hear this from the former Speaker. Over the years, the board has sent staff for further education and has recruited qualified personnel to assist at provincial, tikina, and village level. This has resulted in better services and greater understanding of what services are needed and how they can be delivered effectively. In the board's 5-year strategic development plan for 2018 and 2022, a platform was set concentrating at the village and household levels. A village profiling exercise was conducted in 2018 for all the provinces. The findings were analyzed and used as the basis for developing an integrated village development plan with strategies mapped to address community needs. Excuse me. The implementation of this integrated plan, Mr. Speaker, is well tracked and has been quite successful in areas such as natural disaster response, climate adaptation, and our handling of the current COVID pandemic. Some of these projects include the catchment system at Nakoro village in Nandronga, the contour line farming at Mburata village, Lomaiviti, to stop soil erosion, construction of a seawall at Dubu village in Nandronga, solar electrification in Romuna, in Bautelevo, and other climate change adaptation programs such as food security and reforestation initiatives. The Voreqe Bainimarama program focuses on empowerment and protection of women, youth, and children, and the strengthening of governance processes within the iTaukei administration forums, helping to resolve conflicts and facilitate dialogue within the community continues to be paramount in order to promote social cohesion and community solidarity. Capacity building programs through training in financial literacy training are conducted to encourage the culture of saving and investment at the community level. The training sites include Nabunisole village in Tailevu, Nambua village in Rewa, Naibudini village in Naitasiri, Nandala village in Ba, Lambalar Sere village in Ra, Namgamua village in Serua, Wainimakutu village in Namosi, Naroi village in Moala, Lau, Loa village, the Konrobe, Daria village in Bua, New Rua village in Madwata, Nisinu village of Lau, Ngau and Koro Islands. Mr. Speaker, if landowners are to use their precious asset in the modern market economy, if they have ideas for businesses that can thrive at the local level, they need to draw from the experiences of others who know the Fijian economy. So the ministry provides free business advisory services for existing and potential iTaukei entrepreneurs, including assistance to identify sources of new capital and appropriate market opportunities. For market access, the Ministry of iTaukei Affairs has assisted in identifying markets and helping farmers and iTaukei business penetrate them. For instance, cover traders in the USA markets have been identified and linked to the Angona farmers clusters in Tikinabunoso and Ngau, and the Naibudini Angona farmers cluster in Naitasiri. The Nambala Sere Waterfall Project was a new sightseeing business venture stemming from the formation of the youth cooperative and the business advice the ministry provided. COVID-19 has slowed this initiative, Mr. Speaker, for obvious reasons. In times of access to capital, the Wainimakutu women's paper-making business was a direct result of the Ministry of Women's IHRDP grants for expansion of paper-making facilities. During this pandemic, interested applications are assisted through preparation of business plans and cash flow forecasts to access the COVID-19 loan assistance scheme from Ministry of Trade. Increased development is heavily impacted by climate change. The board has used its conservation platform to strengthen and empower the owners of these natural resources to make informed decisions through innovative best practices so they can sustainably manage their natural resources now and for future generations. The establishment of the Umbulo communities in provincial, Tikina, and village levels, the introduction of waste management, best practices at village levels, identification of traditional taboo sites, primarily for preservation of the marine and forest reserves. Mr. Speaker, for example, the gazetting of the Marine Reserve in Cuba and the establishment of Batura Conservation Park, to name a few of these. In the financial year 2022, marks the completion of the board's 5-year strategic development plan, which will be further evaluated to better address future village development needs. While there would be a need to review existing legislation and frameworks, the Tikina Administration and Maritime Island Council would be strengthened to drive development and commercial ventures as part of their sustainable use of the resources. Mr. Speaker, sir, we will continue with our interventions at all iTaukei administrative levels in our effort to ensure that all iTaukei communities can reap the advantages of the modern market economy and to ensure that these advantages fall to all of the Vanua, not just a privileged few. That, Mr. Speaker, ends my statement this afternoon, and I want to address Litia Qionibaravi that is the statement for the iTaukei administration at the village level, not some attack on the military. Thank you, sir.
I thank the Honourable Prime Minister.